Okay, it's 4:30. I'll open up the sewer commissioners meeting. Elaine, aye.
Bill Watson, aye.
Brian Donahoe, aye.
Okay, do we have anybody on? Doesn't look, it doesn't?
No.
Okay. Let's start with update from the superintendent.
So since our last meeting, we had spent some time talking with Jay, so we want to go over a few details for at least a couple week period. So just to fill you in on some things, the annual report for the department was passed in. It's not printed yet, but it was at least passed in. Obviously, that won't probably come out for a few months. The 2026 budget was approved by the finance committee.
Good job.
Yeah, other than our debt numbers increasing this coming year, the rest of the stuff was all kept to a minimum increase. So right in line where we should be. I think everything looks good on that end. Jeannie this week had some UNIS training, and I kind of listened into some of it, but she could fill you in on any details you need if needed. But she learned a whole lot about the different reporting packages that you can pull up, behind the scenes stuff that might help our department figure out a lot of missing pieces that we're looking for without a lot of hand entry. It's pretty extensive, actually.
Yep, I was able to manipulate reports and then filter them today to show anything that was on like our wastewater budget. And then all of the utility billing, revenue, and sort them by code.
Excellent.
So I have to just drill down a little more, get it the way I want it to look, and then we can tie back into the numbers. And it does show, like on the betterments, the different codes for years. I think I did it from like 23 to 25. So it shows the different codes, what's coming in, what account it goes to, like deferred revenue, was it principal, was it interest?
Excellent.
So there was.
Oh, wow, that's
a
good.
lot of-
And when you say the reports, you can only view, right? You can't, you have no access for entry. You just view
No,
things.
I view in print and
Okay.
I, download
Download, yeah,
and manipulate them, but it's on an Excel
yeah,
spreadsheet.
okay.
But you-
So
Right, I'm sorry.
my idea is, to generate a report that has all of our sewer user fees, like the 401, the 301, the 205. Download that, manipulate it, and then when we go into the collector's reports to like the collector's receivables by date, we should be able to line up those two databases and merge them and then see what isn't, if something isn't there.
Oh, excellent.
So I was just talking to Dave about that, thinking, what's the best way to attack it? I mean, because I know that, anytime a property changes hands with the water department, they have to call, close the account, and then the name is changed, and that Stacy and Laurie do a great job of updating that information, so.
Very good. Sounds like we found the missing pieces.
Yes, and we got some good, worksheets and, about different reports and how to do things, so this was very valuable.
Good.
Not any missing accounts that were buried.
I haven't gone that far.
I'm looking forward to the day.
Was anybody able to, in town hall, able to attend that meeting with you?
So Maureen, from the assessor's office was on the call. Tara was out sick, unfortunately, but I did forward her all of the handouts that Phil had sent me. And Kathleen, the accountant,
Okay, good, good.
Yeah, and
and Dave.
And Dave.
yeah, in and out. But even Kathleen, she was trying to do some things by hand, looking at screens and adding things up, and she was even discovering there's so many things that would save her time
Oh, good.
just by seeing that
Perfect.
seminar. So
And
Yeah,
then
it was awesome.
in Munis,
And all
they
the departments working together.
Those, I always know this is, being a father, being a boy, somebody will say to me, and then my grandfather, when in doubt, read the directions. It's like the same thing. It's like, when in doubt, go back to the beginning and figure out what you're supposed to be doing. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm as much a victim as anybody. I mean, my wife will say that. Hey, knuckle it.
And then there's also an option in Munis that's rate masters, and that's how me and Dave did some of our, rate studies by doing, it in Munis. And there's also consumption analysis reports. So there's really a lot of functionality that we're not so aware of that would make things much easier and clearer for everybody to see
Oh, good,
the full picture.
Good. Very good.
Should almost be an onboarding. So you just go through one of those classes. Or at least, you know, a couple months in, just because there's so much information.
Yeah.
allowed. And really like fine tune the report and then back it out into an Excel sheet, play around with it.
Curious, who's the only person or persons who can actually manipulate the data? Is that like treasurer or?
So I have access to like invoice entry, but anything, if I need to move something from one account to another, there's paperwork that needs to go through. I don't make any adjustments. The water department, Laurie and Stacy are the only ones. I'll send them like an abatement and they'll make all of the adjustments and reversals on their end. So I just strictly do my own invoice entry, budget entry.
I would imagine department by department, they turn on and turn off.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Access
there's some
to
like higher
different
level
things.
you can, like you said, you have to be paperwork, but I would think that some higher level person is heavily bonded, that, you know, you really can't make the final determination since that person, whoever that is, you start talking about the whole of Kingston or Hanover or pick a town. You know,
Yeah.
it could get really scary really fast.
yeah,
So it isn't on the agenda, but we're talking about Munis. So I'm gonna send you guys some information about a conference that they have. And they really have a lot of, sessions that would be, they're about the enterprise funds and just
when's the conference?
May 10th, the 14th.
Did
Okay.
you tell us that last week?
Yeah, I sent you an email.
Yeah, I thought.
Okay, we could put that on the next agenda, and that'll give Dave time to see about funds.
There you go. So moving on,
Next
this-
agenda.
the discharge permit, I sent an email around. It was originally supposed to expire in August. Thank you to the Healy administration. All permits have been extended by 2 years, so we don't have to worry about a permit for 2 more years, puts us 2027.
Excellent.
I'm pretty clear, I just missed that cutoff. I issued my permit for the Western project I did, and then they made that,
Yeah, I
I
think
just
it happened
waited.
in November, maybe.
yeah, I did this in August.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, so that
It was a
explains.
pain, and I wasn't supposed to do the permits, they brought me in, you know, and I'm saying, you know, I just waited another
Yeah, I
month.
should have dragged your feet a little longer. I think I might have sent this around, but there's conflict of interest that we're required to do online. If you haven't gotten a chance to do it, are you familiar with it, Bill?
I've gone to all the seminars, all
Okay.
these years that we've been.
So they're doing it online now and they
Okay.
track it now online, so there's
When does it have to be done by?
I want to say the end of February.
Okay.
Okay.
If you, I don't know if I still have the email, but do you have any contact
I
information?
can,
Email
I
out?
can text it to
Yeah,
you.
text it,
or email it,
Either
yeah.
way.
There's two pieces of it, just, I was confused.
Yeah.
There's if you have, every 2 years, you have to do the big test. And every other year, you just take the short one that you, take a little short 10-minute thing, which is what I did last time, so. But if you haven't done it in 2 years, it's a longer, it's like an hour or two. Just so you know, if you're budgeting your time, you're gonna sit there and you can go off and come back, but
Right, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you stick with it, it's probably about an hour,
Okay.
you know, maybe a little more, hour and 15
So this
minutes.
one's just on conflict of interest.
Yeah, yeah, it just goes through.
ethics.
Or-
Ethics training,
everything,
yeah.
Everything.
Okay. And what we can and cannot do.
Right.
Meetings and information back and forth, and
Yeah,
making decisions
yeah,
outside.
trying to get bids, things like that, so.
Yep. And then done that.
Yeah, so recently, a couple issues with some pump stations. We had, I don't know what happened, but someone at Marsh Road backed into a telephone line and severed it from the pole. Down low, so I imagine they're just either a plow or some vehicle backed into it, severed the line. So right now they have a temporary line running across the road. But we were able to fish a wire through there today and hopefully they'll come in tomorrow and fix the telephone line permanently. We're on a temporary phone over there for now. And then last Friday, I touched base with Elaine on this. The transformer down at New Summer Street blew in the pole. And when Eversource changed out the transformer and re-energized our power, a rodent must have gotten into our line and chewed all the insulation off the wire. And once they re-energized it, flames started coming out of the electrical service, so. They dropped our line running on generator power last Friday into Saturday. Saturday morning, we got the situation repaired. We had North Star Electric come in, ran a new wire from the service back up to the pole, then NSTAR came in and ran it up to the transformer.
This is right in the center of town, that one?
Right by the Big Y.
Oh, that one, yeah, okay. Because that was something.
We call it New Summer, but that's some of the nesting from the whatever rodent was in there, probably squirrel. There was some frozen ice in the conduit. They couldn't even snake the line, so we had to dig down around the conduit, heat it with a torch and melt the ice to get it out of there. There was some pictures from the event.
Is that conduit up, is that going up the pole?
Yeah, so this
Okay,
here,
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah.
and once they cut the wire and dropped it, that's what I showed up and saw the wire just hanging off the pole.
You can't make this stuff up.
And there's the wire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty fast. Isn't that fun? Scares the hell out of you.
So all the
Well,
excitement,
it doesn't shut off.
all the excitement's over, but again, another incident that, you're always one minute away from something catastrophic going on, but everyone helped out.
But this is a well-maintained facility.
Yeah.
These are all the things. I mean, just think about it, if you don't take care of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, then your chances of something happening just increase. You're never at a 0 point that nothing's gonna happen. There's always something. Yeah, that was this week's event. So there's really no, every time I have one of these events go on, I try and think of what we can do to make the situation better next time. So I got a call from the water department, and there was a chain of command that went from the electric company to the water department, then back to me, because they thought it was a water department facility. So I'm looking at getting some decals put on all our stations that'll identify whose
Perfect.
property it is, who to call if there's anything unusual going on.
Good idea.
So
Perfect.
at least that way, if something were to happen, whether there's an overflow or an electrical issue, at least we get immediate call from whoever's involved with it. So,
It could even be someone driving by and seeing something that didn't seem right. And
right,
now they know whose building it is. They
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and say,
yeah, you never know.
"You might want a building with the smoke coming out of the roof."
Yeah.
Right.
Might be an
And
issue.
we've had issues like that before, like on Boundary Street, one of the residents down there knows who to reach.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a problem, but there's other pump stations and other people that come and go out of these houses.
Some
Yeah.
of them have flashing lights on them for a particular reason.
We don't have any.
That don't-
Oh, sorry. Jones River and Rocky Nook Pump Station do.
And what is that? Just if something goes down, it's an indicator light that flashes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just a beacon that goes off. So sometimes we'll get a call from the police on that. This way, at least someone even walking a dog might.
Looking at that really was a sleeve on a pole. Did they put a boot on the top?
They
Sure.
did.
Oh, so it won't happen again.
No. Not
Unless-
at that. not at
Unless,
that
unless
level.
the squirrel loves to eat the boot, but then that's a whole different.
So yeah, the decals, I think, will help out in a situation like that in a multitude of ways. So we're gonna try and get something set up for all our stations on that. And then just minor announcements, February 25th, the town hall warrant opens. March 25th, closes the town warrant. And that's about all I have. Oh, and we're all going for safety training tomorrow for confined space entry.
Oh, okay.
So that's put on by MIA, our insurance company in town.
Do they come here to do it?
We're actually going to the Duxbury Police Station. So they're offering it to any one of their, people that
You're
want
not far
to
away.
buy it.
That's good.
How long does that goes?
It's from 9 to 2.
Yeah, I'm guessing put you in a confined space.
It's probably, I would think, just gonna be taught in the classroom.
Oh, okay,
Cause you've already been all certified, so it's more of a refresher.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's kind of nice every 2 years just to go over it, especially where we're going through
Always
our
the best.
collection
Always,
system,
number one thing is to do it again.
making sure, everyone's on the same page.
Particularly, you've already been in confined, you've been in a real confined space situation. You don't have to like do it again. If you didn't, they would say, no, we're gonna go to this manhole. Set the tripod up and the whole thing, and make you do it. Just like SCBA, put the thing on, breathe with it, run around, breathe with it. All that kind of stuff. They used to make me throw footballs.
Really?
Yeah, so you could
Uh,
understand having a fit mask on when you're really working hard. And so that's what that was, so you really understood.
Yeah,
Like finally,
Mhm.
you don't go in there, your heart rate's 50, it's going 120, you're running around, it's 500 degrees around, You have to be like, just like it's really happening.
wow.
Yeah, they'll test your mask too, they'll break open like a pepper bomb or something.
Yeah.
So you're actually,
It doesn't
if
do
you don't
you
have
any
a
good.
clean shaven face. Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't do you any good to
Yeah.
learn that in the place, and then it's a real problem.
So, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay,
I just have,
yep, go ahead, Brian.
they're under continued financial, are you gonna get into that right now?
Yeah, yeah,
But these are just kind of related. First of all, I talked with Erin Friday. And got caught up with her on what she's doing and the request I wanted to make, I didn't have a chance between Friday afternoon, and everybody closed. The computer she's using is slow as molasses going uphill in January.
okay,
It's really taking, she's wasting time. So
If you're in the office.
yeah, in the office, it's one she has, and Matt's been helping her. He has the two monitors and a better thing. He's been trying to help her, but I didn't find Keith. I was gonna say, can somebody please help her upgrade whatever has to be done?
I'll put in an appointment for Adam to look
Okay.
at the computer and see maybe it needs
She may have talked to him, but just
upgrades. I'll find out.
Yeah,
I'll send her.
it's just, she's wasting a lot of time just trying to do stuff, but the products are starting to come together, like. She's doing a lot of what, this is the whole list of actual paid. Betterments paid up in full, she's doing the next one's like, this is the map that shows all the lots, it's kind of
Oh,
what we're
good.
looking for. And then I'll talk to CDM now to go back to get them to finish all the plans, so that we can start. Doing this, so we have everything that I was looking for, so you can go and look at a plan and know, any one of us can go, particularly for you guys, when somebody comes to the door. You're paid, you're not paid, it's like a cross check that you can, everyone will know what's going on, so by the end of this next few months. We'll know everything about the system, who
Good.
paid, who didn't pay, why they didn't pay, anything. And she just got a whole download of information on Friday morning, so that's, I said I'd come back in a week or so, and I said Gene would be back and talk to us, so that's that, so CDM. I'm putting a whole bunch of things together, I won't bore you with all that, but Dave was on the email, I think, yeah. So that's, and then, the water department letter I had the other day,
yeah,
did we talk about that?
no.
Can we?
Oh, can we? It's financials, yes.
Yeah. I didn't bring that. Let's put that on hold for a second. Then following up on financials, I reached out in my history of the system. I had a nice long talk with Kevin Donovan, the administrator,
Oh.
when this whole thing started. We had a nice chat, real nice chat. It was kind of fun, actually. And he gave me a whole bunch of information how all this came to come together.
Okay,
Which I don't know all the details, so I'll keep it to that. But he said clearly there was a definitely agreement. It was a big deal about 1/3, 2/3. And he said, as far as he knows, it was for the rest of the plant. And everything I've been saying, so he said, I don't want to put him on I'm gonna speak with him. I want to talk to him some more.
yeah,
He's gonna think about it because I hit him with something today that, I gave him a note a couple days ago. Just to kind of give him a chance to go think about it and recall, and it's 20 years ago too for him.
yeah,
But the discussion was very much, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because she
remember
was right in the middle of it
that. And you
all.
remember that, you know, the Mark Beaton trying to change the 2/3, 1/3, that whole
Yeah.
thing, that was a big deal. And I said, well, we have it all on records, but, I just want to have, you know, it's not Brian Donahoe remembering
Yeah,
like the Messiah from, you know, some guy from the history books coming in and, that's how I feel. You know, but that was good. Kevin, he's now selectman chairman in Abington.
oh, he's back on the
Yeah.
board?
He said he was bored, so he ran.
Oh, okay, good for him.
So I just, we're chasing, you know, going in different directions.
Yeah.
here. We're gonna try to figure all this out. That's it. So the water, is the only other thing, if you want.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So I didn't keep bringing a copy. That letter I gave you, we had Gene put together. I drafted a letter up. And again, it's a continuation on figuring out what's going on.
Right,
My idea with this is that I'm listening to everybody about money.
right,
And one of our, before my time, but one of the factors that played into our shortage in revenue on the operation side, as well as the betterment side to a certain extent, has been no hookup for a year and a half, 2.5 years now. So my letter is meant to address, having as soon as possible, a meeting with the water department saying, listen, we just went through both of us, both water and sewer went through an upgrade to the rates for operating expenses, but we've become aware now how much of an impact it's had on our budgets. And we would like to have a meeting to get a people dispensation, for lack of a better word, to say from now on, any business, any residence that comes to us that has the need for additional capacity be allowed to get that capacity as an exemption because of the effect it has on the sewer rates, the sewer department in total. That's the theme of the letter.
okay,
Okay. Get a meeting with them as soon as possible. You know, I mean, like within the next 2 weeks. We get that letter out. It's not perfect. I mean, it needs a little editing, but the theme is there. That's why I gave it to Keith, because it goes to the same, you know, they're getting whacked on that same thing in
Mhm.
both towns on development and not being able to hook up and revenue and all those things. So that letter is intended, that's the intent of the letter. So if you look at it and then we can finalize it, I think we can go vote on the idea. now.
yeah, so we could take a vote to send the water department a letter outlining the impact on the rates, and can we have a meeting?
Have a meeting, and the intent of the meeting is to get an exception for any sewer user, anybody who's on the sewer. We're not talking about spanning
Right,
outside of our existing capacity. But anyone who's on the sewer system we have now, okay, or was meant to be connected to it, that's why that plan I'm doing is so important. That they would be given an exemption. I use an example in the letter, that commercial property where the Vania block was.
right,
Okay, they came to us on a car wash, they needed 7 or 10 ERUs, they had 3. That whole business went away, we lost the revenue, and we lost the operation maintenance revenue, both. My idea is, if somebody comes in with a legitimate commercial property idea for that, and they want 50, I don't care how many it is, go,
but
give them it,
from a water perspective,
from a
because,
water perspective.
right,
We get the
because
sewer.
they bought additional capacity for
Right.
a business there.
That's the kind of idea, is let the businesses along, particularly in 3A or anywhere, if they have a business or if say this, I was thinking about the VFW.
Yeah.
You know, if someone knew, if I'm a business person and I'm a developer and I walk in and there's this thing here, they want to sell it and it's zoned commercial or it's zoned, lodge or something, some kind of weird. But if it made sense for the next door, a butter who's commercial property to buy it and upgrade their ability to let them do it. You know, let's not have a water connection stop a huge increase in potential in capital. Tax levy for us, somebody develop a property that's run down or not as good as it could be, make it better, whatever, just let the business side figure it out. Get through whatever zoning and planning has to be done, but you know, let it happen. Don't step in the way and use this obscure kind of thing out here. It's not that we don't have water. I mean, I can understand the moratorium for a particular reason, We do not have plenty of water. We have plenty of water. There's other reason for that. There's
Huh?
no-
Yes,
Kingston Business Support, like the Kingston Business Association supported and drafted a letter to that effect already. And we will be there in your
Okay.
pocket
There you
for this exact same attack or.
didn't know that, no.
Let's call it that way.
yeah, we don't want to,
Water fund.
we want to have a conversation.
And an exemption based on the fact they have a timeline for well now versus from day one. If they exempt the business side, they're creating a tax base without all the other reasons people are trying to limit, for whatever reason, develop.
go. I think we have a mutually.
Yeah.
Wouldn't their argument be though that they could only produce so much water a day now? And they can't allow anybody else, they're only permitted to do X amount. And they can't allow anybody else to, even if they expand their property, they can't give them that extra water capacity for.
Well, we'll have the discussion, but in my understanding of this, after asking these questions of the water commissioners, is that it's not a water problem. It is more of a administrative problem because of things that they haven't done to ensure that the capacity is, that what is actually pumped is getting delivered.
Okay,
So it's a leak issue. And it's more of a regulatory issue than it is it's a way for DEP to say, fix your leak problem, but we're not gonna let you, that's why there's a moratorium. It's more on that side of things. And
okay, so it'll
but
be,
in between the two things is room for a discussion and an exemption. It's not like we're asking for another 1 million gallons of water.
well, that's it. I just wanted to Bill's point, I just want to be respectful of the water commissioners and the role that they need to take.
Right.
That we go with the approach showing them the impact on us. And can we sit down and talk about this? And is there any room that they can work towards permitting some things?
Yes, and that's the thing with the water.
Okay, so if that's the theme of the letter, you want to tweak it, I'm okay with sending that
Yeah.
and asking for what works for their schedule for us to go.
Yeah,
So I'll
Brian-
second that.
Brian,
Make the
you-
motion,
you
I'll
work on
second
that?
it.
That was a motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, because I know we've been pressured a lot in the past to say yes to things that we're hard pressed, we had to say no, so I just wanted to keep the open communication.
Yeah, well, I'm all for that, yeah.
Okay, so we're expecting to hear from Jay on anything else, Brian?
Nope, just cover with Jake, 'cause I have a couple things that fits
Okay.
into this.
I was just gonna say, we're waiting for Jay to get back to us on the, whether or not we can apply the special assessment for the leaching fields, or if it would be, something we'd have to put on the sewer rates. So we're waiting to hear back from him on that, and for our next meeting, I think we should be in a pretty good position to make some decisions on which way to go, and in the meantime, Dave and I are going back on different financials to see, if we used this source of funds, does that do us? Does that buy us some time? Things like that. So I think our next meeting should be a pretty productive one financially, and we can get everything out ahead of time.
We meet next week on that.
No, this is our regular
This is
meeting,
all
right?
right, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just think about Jay's response, that's all, if his response comes in the next.
It should be saying by the end of the week, but we don't know. So what's that, the 18th, maybe?
The 18th.
I'm sorry.
It's
The 18th.
When is the warrant close?
The 25th of March, right?
Opens on the 25th of February, closes the 25th of March.
Okay, so we need to put something.
Yeah, we'll have, we can, yeah. Make that an agenda item as well on the 18th. Town meeting articles, because we'll have to put one in anyway for the budget and free cash, the allocation of the 411,000.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So,
Just go back so as you deal with this, are you looking at that money we have in the better money that's out?
the 1,000,006, that Jay's supposed to get back to us on that as well.
That solves the only problem.
Based, right,
The next agenda, we discussed the VFW.
yes,
They want to be,
yeah, we did ask, I
I reached out, I haven't heard back.
asked so far it's been the Realtor who's been asking for this.
Right, right.
We really should have something in writing from the owner, the VFW
Right.
board or whoever, asking specifically what are they looking for us to do? Because to this point, it's been a conversation with the Realtor.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we can certainly put it on the agenda.
So just part of the letter we just talked about, and Gene and David, we're all aware that that is another part of, potentially a part of this discussion. Would the Realtor or the VFW be better, have a better deal for themselves, whatever reason, if they had more capacity? Now they're giving that stuff back, but they're giving that stuff back for a different reason. If you're a business person, you gotta know all the different things, you know, it's not just one. So if they had, let's say the next door neighbor, I've looked at the property, it's narrow, it's got a parking lot, but his business is on one side, right? And then if they were interested, if they knew they could get some kind of,
They don't own the parking lot behind them. That's
They
the
don't.
problem.
Yeah, that's,
So it makes it
So-
a tiny little lot.
but I'm saying, if someone was to go in there and say, if I bought this, I could add it to my repertoire and make,
I think that's already, the water's already under the bridge on all of that. Because that's what we tried to say to them. They don't want to try and purchase the property behind them to make it
Yeah.
a bigger parcel. And the
Okay.
business behind them has a huge
All right,
drop off of wetlands.
if there's nothing we can do, then I just don't want to have it become an impediment.
right.
Okay,
But I mean, if we could discuss that just briefly, does it behoove us to buy that back at a reduced rate and put it back into our funding? But, you know, then again, there's already something in rules, our rules and regulations.
Yeah,
It said it's, you know, that we just don't do that.
right. No, we did it for vacant lots. We didn't do it for,
Pre-existing.
yeah.
But then what happens if they never build anything else beyond that, they pay it off? Can we take that flow back on our calculations? Because that's it.
oh,
That's
sure.
all they're ever gonna get. And
There's
just
two different things.
You, at the end of the day, we look at things by actual flow.
Okay, so we're
rather
getting to
than-
that point,
Yeah,
whereas, okay. So because we have limits with the state that we can only put out, you know, process so much.
right.
And then once we reach that on paper, even though flow says that we still have 20% below that.
It's only an
It's
actual
already
flow,
used.
you gotta think actual flow, not.
Title
Yeah,
five.
the two different things. One's an accounting measure for what we charge the betterment to be. The other is actual flow. In our particular case, we are unique. We have a permit for discharge that's well in advance of what we have for the permit for the treatment plant. So when you look at the numbers, we can actually go up to our full capacity. Okay? And still have plenty of room for discharge. As
Right.
opposed to, if we only had a
Still-
700,000 gallon a day discharge capacity, then we would be backing off, because they don't want to be maxed up and also, but we have that extra peak. So it gives us a lot of room, so we have like 30,000 gallons of capacity now.
Mark, were you here to talk to us about anything?
Yeah. Power purchase, I talked to the
A
accountant.
bunch of have a seat.
Huh?
You're on TV, so.
Oh, let me get back in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, power purchase, I just say, Brian, the trip over there to bang on the door. They don't know what the capacity is, they don't know what they've got available for more power purchase. As to bring you up to speed, the Silver Lake School System currently generates $300,000 in revenue by having a power purchase agreement with a solar farm down in Dartmouth. And it's based on the electric use we have, and the way that money is being made is because we get our electricity delivered free. And that's by state statute as a municipality, and you have to be, and Silver Lake's its own municipality. So in the case of you as an enterprise fund, I'm not sure if you have your own municipality or if you've already been put in with town of Kingston. But at some point, the town of Kingston, based on the electric bills, kilowatt hours used, came up with a cap on what they could take for solar capacity in a power purchase agreement. At the end of the day, we have increased, particularly your use with the new tank. You've increased the amount of electricity we use. And I think townwide, we're probably using more electricity than we were at date 2006, or whatever they might have calculated. she admitted she doesn't understand power purchase, and there's very few people that do.
Yeah.
She said that in the town of Sandwich, where she worked before, they had hired somebody for $700 a month to manage the power purchase agreements for the town. Which didn't sound like a lot of money if you're gonna make $300,000 or whatever the delta is in between that we could bring as a revenue source in and solve some of our problems by doing this. But it's getting a grasp of the power purchase. I'm no expert. But we took the accountant about 3 years to figure it out at Silver Lake before we actually, and she could probably explain it in layman's terms at least, but if a consultant for the entire town will look at our power purchase, our use, and do that, and see if there's a capacity where we can make some revenue, I think it's something we're looking for.
This came in the discussion, we're talking about our cost of electricity. And
Yeah.
We, there's not enough room for a lot of photovoltaics on our property, but to come up with that amount of electricity, I mean,
This is without building anything.
Yeah.
And this agreement, when we first put it into place, was $100,000. Because of the cost of electricity, it has grown into a $300,000 threefold increase in the revenue.
Okay,
So this, I think, is a significant, but it means getting the right expert in to figure out Kingston, and she's got a stack of bills in there that I think there's a lot of things we gotta fix. but-
yeah, because there's a whole issue going back. I know we're used in some aspect for the Eversource bills. We don't get anything because of that against our bills,
Mhm.
but we're being used, I think it's for the solar.
Solar to pay for the decommission of the wind turbine.
Yeah, so,
So it's all a big Ouija board, and from what I'm saying, then you're being used right now for the capacity they need to get some of the revenue returned,
but not,
but you're not seeing
Benefiting.
a dollar in your
Right.
budget
right.
coming the other way.
Right. Okay, so I know Lisa Mead from Jay's firm was very instrumental originally with power purchase agreements. She was on the forefront of this whole industry when it first came out. So I think it's sure, financial, let's look into it.
appreciate kind of that, we talked about it, and like you said, I don't understand, I'm just getting into it on my own project now. It's complicated as hell, it changes monthly, that's the
Right.
problem.
Yeah,
It's because, ooh.
I mean, so have you been,
Yeah. we've
okay,
talked
if you
about-
wanna talk with Keith about getting,
Yeah.
I
Right.
think Lisa Mead would be the individual to tell us who the
Lisa Mead?
expert would be that might be available.
She indicated there are services out there, might be something has to go to bid, but
Yeah,
I didn't think $700 a month for a down sandwich, we're not
right,
same size, that was a very big nut to crack
Right.
based on the possibility of generating some revenue.
yeah, Lisa Mead, was,
She's with Telemann.
yeah, she actually was one of the original partners in the firm, and then Jay came on with them. So yes, Lisa Mead is,
Oh, well, then we can corroborate a little bit on that. see how it goes, because that, I mean, I look at our bills with their 16, we don't even know what they are, that's the problem, right?
right,
It's like a bill of zero and it's 17,000 and
So this month we had a bill for $32,000, and then we had to pay to town 19,000 and change for credits that were applied to our account.
So there is some credit, it's
But
offsetting
it's,
the bills.
but it's not, we have to pay the town back. It's not coming to our enterprise fund.
so the Eversource bill has a reduction of, for example, 19,000 that we don't have to pay Eversource, but we pay the town the 19,000 for that credit from Eversource.
Right.
So we're receiving no benefit from that. Okay,
Yeah, if you get the, well, and again, I don't know, you don't have any solar on your property, so, and I'm not sure how the new solar field at the landfill functions into this. You know, was it an offset, the turbine that was there?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
Yeah.
very big
Gene said
big
it,
issue, but I think it's something that you iron it out, there might be some hidden revenue there. We're all looking.
right,
So there were certain accounts like the schools, I think fire, water, there's a few departments that had the big enough bill to absorb the credits that would be coming through from that cursage. So
Okay.
that's how we were picked.
and we didn't realize we were picked until it started happening.
Right.
Okay, so yes,
if we can make that 17, 19, whatever it is that month, zero,
Right.
which is where we're heading.
Right.
You could get some revenue at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's a payback for previous year kind of thing. from
It's
what
all
I'm saying.
net
Okay.
metering, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all bigger on net metering over here.
And then the other thing is, the delivery fees for both the gas and electricity are insane. It's more than the supply that we're using, the delivery fees. And I mean, we've seen it on probably our personal accounts as well.
Right.
So,
So that's the savings. The delivery fee is zero for any electricity you're buying from a solar field someplace. So having that capacity and getting it basically half price
Right,
is a huge gain with the utility bills the way they are.
Well, that's my next, the landfill is my next little, project when I get through all this stuff with you guys, and that's the next source of energy. And I'll take you up to Quarry Hills and show you like, which is coming online probably in 6 months, we're gonna start a utility and Quarry Hills is gonna run it's gonna eliminate Eversource and National Grid, and they'll have their own utility, and they'll run the entire golf course, clubhouse, the whole midnight shebang off landfill gas they get for free,
really,
and
You know, nothing.
yeah,
Breakdown.
it's phenomenal. And it's just,
it's endless.
Grocery store waste,
that's coming afterwards, that's the next thing.
because if you produce a place where you can take in grocery.
That's, yeah, I gotta be real careful how I talk about that, because
Okay.
I know where I wanna go, but it's fraught with minefields.
Okay,
I think we're gonna need roller skates for you.
I have only a few more years left to call this off.
Mhm.
I've done so far.
plenty of time. That's all I have. Bill?
The only other thing I want to mention is Erin, has really dug in and is detail oriented, and she, has, gone and gotten information from various sources, so,
Oh, good.
it's been really good.
Good, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
That's why it's just having her pulled back because she can't
Yeah,
get the
Hasn't-
machine to work, and that's, first I heard about it was Friday, so I knew I'd bring it up today. So if we can
Okay.
figure that out, that'd be great. We'll be, and then by next meeting, I'll have all the CDM plans, everything should be done, a blue brochure.
wow. So let's plan on 2/18 for a meeting, because even if Jay gets back to us the end of this week, I think we're still gonna have to do some options for the 18th meeting, to pull something together.
I don't know, I think another meeting there's a lot happening.
You wanna,
If we want to have another meeting, I think that's a good idea. I mean, between now and the 18th,
yeah,
yeah, I definitely think it's a good idea.
if we have enough time, because if they come back and say it's betterments, we have to figure out some options to present. If they say it's utility bills, then that's a whole nother thing. I don't know if we'd have everything together by next Tuesday, is my,
At your discretion, the chair.
Yeah, let's see what-
I'm okay with.
why don't we know by
For some
Thursday,
reason,
right?
we Sneak us in for an hour or two
okay.
to have another meeting. I'm okay with
Let's
that.
see how soon he gets back to us and what we can pull together. How's that sound?
Yeah.
We'll stay tuned for next Tuesday, but otherwise, the 18th.
We're available. I'm
Yeah.
available.
Okay, that sounds good. Anything else?
Brian, you good?
I'm good.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.